I'm sure I'm not alone in claiming that Injective or Injective protocol, like some used to call it, and its ticker symbol ING, has lost ground against newer entrants like Hyperliquid and SUI. What missteps may have hurt it, and can it claw back its past glory among DeFi, PEP decks, and interoperability chains? You want to know more about that and even much more? Please strap in. But before we jump into this review, please know that I am not a financial advisor. I'm just some dude on the internet interested in everything crypto. This content is not financial advice. It's meant to be for educational as well as entertainment purposes, and it's also not targeting UK audiences. The UK authorities do deem anything crypto related to be extremely risky, and they're trying to protect you just in case you end up losing your funds. That said, let's come back to Injective. Why has it lost its edge against competitors? It's being left way behind. It was the pace setter at one point, but now it's playing catch up, and I don't think it's doing a good job. If you want to know what I think, keep watching. And for those who are not subscribed, if you want to know more about the likes of Injective and related tokens or cryptos, this is the channel to watch. We do bring you non-conventional content that you may not find anywhere else. People who are not interested in learning and they're only interested in hype or shilling their coins, they will say there's no point in watching educational content. But believe me, these videos that we bring you on this channel, they do prepare you to be more resilient in your approach, to gain an edge against competition, because you are actually learning. Because in these markets, the crypto markets, it's player versus player, investor versus investor. There is no tree growing dollars or any other fiat currency. The value comes from you learning and developing an edge against your rivals, which is every other investor within this market. That's where your profits come from. You should be aware of that by now. So what is Injective? At least on paper, that is. Injective is a layer 1 chain built for finance, DeFi derivatives, interoperable smart contracts, cross-chain asset swaps, order book, and so forth. And the key elements include a fully decentralized, miner extractable, value-resistant on-chain order book, or MEV-resistant on-chain order book, which is designed or intended to minimize front-running and unfair trading advantages. It is also designed for interoperability via the Cosmos or COSMI-WASMI model, which gives us the ability to interoperate with major chains. It supports cross-chain tools and plug-and-play modules for finance. And finally, it boasts an ecosystem fund where it is committed to ecosystem growth with significant funding. For example, the $150 million ecosystem initiative to build DeFi infrastructure and so forth. Those were initiatives announced a while ago. So in theory, Injective aims to combine the best of DeFi derivatives plus smart contract multi-chain utility in a finance-first layer 1. What are new players doing? The likes of Hyperliquid and SUI. To understand what Injective needs to contend with, it is helpful to see what Hyperliquid and SUI are bringing to the table. And here's a brief analysis of what that is. In Hyperliquid's case and its Hype token, it has built its own layer 1, which is Hypercore plus Hyper EBM, focused heavily on perpetual futures or PEPs. Perpetual's trading volume stats are very strong, massive 30-day, 7-day, 24-hour volumes, showing real growth. For example, recent 30-day PEP volume was approximately just under $330 billion. 24-hour was around $9 billion. Open interest also very elevated. Hyperliquid is capturing a large share of DeFi PEPs market. For example, in some recent data, Hyperliquid accounted for between 70 to 80% market share among on-chain perpetual DEX. As for SUI, it is growing rapidly in usage and developer attention. More general purpose chain, strong next-gen narrative. We're talking of move, virtual machine, data-centric, and so forth. It competes for mindshare. That's why I'm including SUI alongside Hyperliquid. So the competition for Injective is both from PEPs-focused newer chains such as Hyperliquid and from high-profile general-purpose layer 1s such as SUI, grabbing developer and user migration. So what went wrong for Injective? Why has it lost momentum? Let's look at some of the plausible weak points or missteps based on recent data and what analysts are saying. Let's look at the price decline and failure to sustain highs. The ING coin at times reached over $50 around March in 2024, but has since declined and around mid-2025 and currently is fluctuating between $14 to $20. That's the range. This indicates loss of momentum and investor sentiment. The inability to reclaim important resistance levels, for example, $15, has been a concern, suggesting technical weakness. As for competition from other PEP-focused chains, Hyperliquid's rise in PEP's volume has been massive. Its architecture, low latency, high liquidity, strong execution seem to be winning users who would otherwise have used Injective for derivative. We're talking of Injective's own PEP platform, which is Helix. Hyperliquid Hyperliquid is newer, but early wins in PEPs, volume, user growth, and so forth create a perception that it might become or is becoming the go-to for PEPs trading. And if you go to PEPs trading on Helix, almost non-existent. There isn't much going on there. Looking at the roadmap delays or unmet expectations, sometimes features promised or roadmap items, for example, cross-chain features or infrastructure modules, do take longer or deliver less than hype. Users may have moved on. Also, market sentiment is fickle. If new entrants offer better user experience, lower fees, or more liquidity, users or traders tend to migrate, and I think that has been the case with protocols such as Hyperliquid, and it's layer 1. Moving on to liquidity and price pressures. Lower liquidity relative to newer entrants or PEPs giants implies that larger trades or demand surges can produce more slippage or risk, making the platform less attractive for larger trade volume. Tokenomics or unlocking schedules may pressure price if there are token unlocks or larger vested allocations. In this case, I would say Injective has been one of the few projects with a more disciplined approach when it comes to tokenomics. So I don't know why the hype just hasn't caught up. It's mind-boggling, but something has seriously gone wrong. And can Injective recover from this? What do they need to do? The team, that is. Well, I think Injective is not necessarily done. It still has core strengths to regain ground. Maybe it needs to look at delivering on upcoming roadmap items aggressively. If Injective can ship high performance, low latency, high liquidity PEPs, improved order book features, good cross-chain bridging, and so forth, that matches or beats what Hyperliquid is offering, maybe that could do the trick. And don't forget incentives and liquidity programs as well. Deep reward programs, partnerships, liquidity incentives to bring traders back, better user experience and gas efficiency, minimizing cost for users, improving interface, ensuring low latency. I don't know if any of these is on their radar, but they should actually be rolling their sleeves. I mean, so often you hear developers saying, we've been quiet, we've been building, but are you building what matters? Are you building what is actually going to make the difference? There's building just for your own egos and building things that the user or the developers actually require or want to see. Those are two different things. They're not the same. So you might spend all your time building things, but if there is no traction, if you are not gaining new developers or new players or new users, your efforts are just pointless. Sometimes we need to say it as it should, not to dress it up. And then if you look at narrative position, emphasizing trends such as MEV resistant order book, interoperability, derivatives, and smart contract flexibility, possibly focus on niches other PEPs or DEXs or newer layer ones aren't focused on. Are they doing that? I think they're just looking at what else are other projects doing. Let's copy that. I haven't seen anything that is revolutionary coming from Injective. I'm actually disappointed that Helix didn't pick up, because when it first launched, it was one of the few, if not the first one, to seriously introduce that. But where did it get to? Nowhere. Anyway, let's not forget strategic alliances and integrations as well, collaborations with different wallets, platforms, bridges, or DeFi tools, which can also widen reach. How is Hyperliquid eating Injective's lunch as a PEPs leader? Well, from recent data, Hyperliquid has captured a huge share of decentralized perpetual trading volume. Some reports say 70 to 80% among DEX PEPs. Hyperliquid's order book architecture, product focus, and speed seem to appeal very much to PEPs traders, which is where much of the money is in derivatives. Because Hyperliquid is newer, traders may see it as offering lower hanging fruit in terms of yield, opportunities, first mover in certain perpetual product features. Whereas Injective is stronger on interoperability, broader finance ambition, but its narrower focus on derivatives and cross-chain might be spread too thin or less optimized compared to PEPs-focused layer ones such as Hyperliquid. They could have just shipped out or flogged off Helix. Could have done wonders on its own. Anyway, let's look at some price and market performance snapshot for each of these. We got Injective, which used to be around $50 during its highs in around March 2024. Now it's between $14 to $16. Hyperliquid's token, the Hype token, has had strong gains since its airdrop in November 2024, and market cap is now around $18 billion or somewhere thereabouts, and has outperformed many of its peers. This contrast in price performance contributes to perception. People see more action in what Hype is doing, volume, growth, usage, than in what Injective has been doing recently. Can Injective make it back to the top? Yes, but it won't be easy. Tailwinds that could help: got rising demand for cross-chain derivatives and perpetuals. If PEPs trading keeps growing, there is room. But Hyperliquid is also not standing still. still is been talking of trying to bridge to Solana and other chains. So Hyperliquid is not going to let its leadership position disappear or vanish into the wind. If Injective improves or launches new modules, for example, improved order book, user experience, and then integrations, liquidity incentives, and it also becomes faster, and as regulatory clarity becomes more important, Injective's MEV-resistant interoperable design might actually become more attractive, and if you compare it against simpler automated market makers or perhaps DEXs, that might actually give it an edge. And as for headwinds, it is being overshadowed by newer chains soliciting both hype and utility. Some are just chasing attention. For example, Sui, even though it's not competing for the same space as Injective, Sui has done a good job when it comes to competing for attention. Liquidity continues to gravitate toward perhaps optimized players like Hyperliquid. So, my final take is that Injective was once the knight at the DeFi derivatives table, wielding interoperability and finance-first design, but the table got crowded. Hyperliquid arrived with a speed knife, carving itself clean space with volume, perhaps, and the smell of opportunity. On the other hand, you got Sui, which is getting the stage lights, pouring dev talent. Injective seems for a time to have stepped back, maybe refining its armor, but also losing the crowd's roar. Can the ING coin rage back? Possibly, but it needs more than polish. It needs to sprint. Injective is currently more like a veteran fighter who is hit a slump, while Hyperliquid is up-and-coming challenger, planting flags. Unless Injective pivots smartly and delivers heavy-hitting wins, it risks being remembered fondly, not feared fiercely. Any thoughts about our take on Injective's slowdown and whether it's coming back? Let us know in the comment section. By the way, I do hold the ING coin, so I'm giving you this assessment from a good place, from a place of love. Until the next one, guys, FD465.tv signing out for now. Bye.